Welcome back to the Pivot Table. So this is real talk for leaders and professionals, whether you're realigning, reimagining, or redefining what success means for you today. I'm Raveen Houghton, and with me are Makisha Spence and Amma Brew. And we are the facilitators and team for the Ascend Leadership Pivot Program.
Well, we are essentially following up on the conversation that we had a while back about the pivot table and the Ascend program, which focuses on helping leaders, professionals, persons at various points in their career think about pivoting, thinking about changing direction, realigning. And one of the things that we really wanted to highlight is this idea that a pivot is not an indication of failure. A pivot is not a message that says, I'm starting all over from scratch, but it's really recognizing all of the wealth of experience, all of the resources, everything that has contributed to who you are now, and everything that will help you figure out how you want to move in the future. So I think that's a good way of looking at pivot. It's not reimagining from the very, very beginning and starting all over again. What do you think, Amma?
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And I think that really helps to destigmatize the whole idea of pivoting, right? Because if you're gonna pivot, I even don't like to, you're evolving. You're evolving into
Yeah.
the next. It's
Yeah.
an evolution, right? And so the whole idea of I always like when I think about pivot is like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. You have all
Mm-hmm.
the lived experiences as a caterpillar, but then you go into the little cocoon, right? To reinvent yourself, to evolve as a butterfly. And that is how I see pivoting. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not that you're just forgetting everything you've done and all your lived experience, all the years of work and life experience you have, but you're actually taking all that into
Mm-hmm.
an incubator, right? Just so that you can, rebrand and evolve yourself into the next best version of yourself. And so that's how I see it. So it's good that we are having this conversation because it's really going to serve a lot of individuals and professionals and leaders who are silently going through that internal dissatisfaction and internal struggle. There's that internal push and
Mm-hmm.
pull when you get to that place where you know that I think that I need to rethink or reevaluate, right? It's gonna really serve a lot of people because then it's gonna just help us really define the whole pivoting process as a process of you slowing down, reassessing, incubating, and taking everything that you have to create the next step or the next best version of yourself. So, and then that also helps us to also really see pivoting as not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing thing. It's an
Yeah.
ongoing evolution. For everybody, could be for some people it's a 5-year cycle. For some people it's a 2-year cycle. For some people it's a 10-year cycle. Everybody's journey is different. But a key thing is being able to accept the reality when you get there, right? And finding the resources and the tools and everything that you need to support you in that pivoting process. And that's why I'm so excited about the Ascend program because that is what we're trying to do for people. Create that space, that safe space where they can come and get all the support and the nurturing and the tools and the resources that would empower them to step into their next, right? So I must say this is exciting for me.
Wonderful. Me too. And I love that analogy of the caterpillar and the butterfly. And so often we forget about that cocoon stage. We forget that there is that transitional period where the caterpillar has to go into this cocoon, and it's not a place where it just rests. It's a place of development and growth and transformation. And so, one of the biggest gifts someone can give themselves is to create that cocoon moment and to provide and create that space where they can actually just pause and do the work of figuring out what are all of the resources I have at my disposal? What are all of the experiences I have to draw on? Where does what does that mean for who I am now? And what does that mean for what I want and need for my future? But it is so important to create that cocoon space. And I think that's one of the things that we can offer, that structure, that process of moving from point A to point B, moving from that place of uncertainty to that place of clarity. And I also love what you said, that for every individual, that is going to look different. It may be that the cocoon process leads them immediately to that butterfly experience where they know exactly where they're going and they can take action immediately. For someone else, it might be incremental. So it may be that at the end of that cocoon period, they do have greater clarity, but it may be a smaller pivot. It may be a smaller evolution, and it's really what's right for them in that time and season of their lives.
And that excitement about helping people to transition from period and a place of uncertainty to clarity is also what led us to creating a 3-stage model for pivot readiness. And the first stage in that model is really about awakening. And that is that uncertainty. It might be unpleasant feelings coming up, perhaps feeling like you're a failure some of the time because you're not feeling very motivated or excited about whatever it is you're working on or where you are career-wise. Or it could just be that kind of quiet unrest that's nudging you, telling you there may be some room here for some sort of shift, something to get you a bit more excited, a bit more energized in the morning to get out of bed and get to work. Or it could be something else entirely different. But there is usually something happening in the awakening period beneath the surface, letting you know that it's time to slow down. And slowing down does take courage. That's something that we don't want to discount here, because it's easy sometimes to just keep going and push through the discomfort because you've worked so hard to get here. But if you do slow down and you take the time to really listen inward and figure out, what is this feeling trying to tell me? How can I start exploring? That's when you start making those first intentional steps towards whatever that higher calling or higher purpose is. And it leads to the next phase of our model, which is exploring. And that's definitely where we come in. So we provide that structure, that framework, that safe space for you to explore, consider what are the opportunities and options that are out there, give you access to a variety of different tools, and also provide you with an expansive community, people that you can connect with, whether those are your peers and other people joining the program, or us as your coaches or guest speakers who will be brought in, and you can also leverage as resources. And then from there, it's transitioning to the aligning phase. How do we take all of this information and figure out, where do you go next? What aligns most with your personality? What fires you up, your passion, your joys, the difference that you want to make? One of the things that we tend to ask during coaching is, what kind of leader do you want to be remembered as? Legacy do you want to leave? So we strive to align all of these different elements with your values and who you are at your core to figure out what are the most impactful next steps that you can take. And if what I'm saying we're talking about here is appealing to you, if it's sparking curiosity for you, or if that voice inside is telling you this is what you need, and we're encouraging you to sign up for our informational session.
Yeah, I'm just so excited about the potential this program has to impact people. And one of the things that stands out as well is, we are holistic practitioners. So that sense of unease, it could be very much linked to tension. It could be tension in your body. It could be a sense of anxiety. It could be digestive issues. I mean, there are a lot of things that can contribute and show up as that sense of, something's not quite right here. The other thing that, we often talk about burnout, but very often burnout is about misalignment. And we say, well, I don't have any energy to do this work today. I'm slow getting out of bed because I just, I don't want to go into the office. But when you find the thing that you are passionate about, you find that that energy is there because it almost self-generates. You have purpose, you have meaning, as Raveen mentioned. And so you don't have that sense of dragging yourself into the work. You want to do the work. You're motivated. You're excited. Part of this is helping you to find, what is that thing? What is that spark that creates that sense of excitement and energy for me? And that will then help me to get past this thing about I'm feeling burnt out, or my life doesn't have meaning, or I don't enjoy what I'm doing, or I feel, discontent with my life. So that sense of awakening, of just recognizing that something is not right, is that really important first step. And once you get to that awakening, then you have that opportunity to step into that cocoon moment or that cocoon season and do that deep exploration with the various tools, the various questions, the various approaches that we bring to this work. And I thought, I don't know if you have any additional thoughts to add, Amma, about that process.
Yes. One thing I always say is that you cannot remedy or you cannot take action on something you haven't acknowledged or something you're not seeing or something you're not self-aware of. And so that's why I like our process, because we are starting you with stop, pause, slow down, right? Checking with yourself. You've been on autopilot. You've been in this career for a couple years, and you've figured out how to do this. Just go all day. You
Yeah.
wake up in the morning. This is what we do. This is the routine, and you're just going with emotions. But it's the time to stop, pause, slow down, and check in with yourself. And there's a lot you're going to notice in that moment when you start to slow down and stop pushing through. And that is what guides you into that cocoon process to figure out what the next is and realign things. I am excited, and I hope that we will have a lot of people sign up for that information session, because it's an opportunity for you to just find out more. I know you've had that internal struggle. You've been pushing it away. It keeps popping up. It's when you have a ball and you put it in a pool and you're trying to push it down, but it keeps forcing itself up because science doesn't allow that ball to swing. Or the elephant in the room that you're refusing to address, but it's still there and it's staring you in the face.
Exactly.
This is your opportunity to address it, right? And you're not going to address it alone, because I know it's scary when you're trying to do it alone. Because when you have this big elephant staring in your face, you know that it's a big deal and you have to figure it out. It's not going to be easy. But that is why we have chosen to make ourselves available, right, to support you as you address some of these internal struggles. So I'm really looking forward to you signing up. Anybody, if you feel like you've been struggling with that push and pull and you've been feeling unfulfilled, but you're just pushing through because at least this works, this is the routine, you're used to it, right? Why poke the bear? If it's ain't broken, don't fix it. We go with stuff like that just to avoid addressing it. But please do this for yourself. It's your opportunity to do. Imagine 5 years down the line, if you don't do this, you're going to go back and go like, what if? Right? And that's the saddest spot to be in, where you ask yourself, what if I had given myself that opportunity to slow down and even check in and see where I could go and to see if I could make a change? Sometimes one little degree of change can change the trajectory of your career and your life. It doesn't even have to be a big thing, right? So I'm really looking forward to it, and I really hope that we're going to have a lot of people sign up, even just for the information session, just to hear more, and hopefully see if people will be willing to take that step for themselves and to invest in their next.
Absolutely. There's no risk. It's 1 hour, and our aim is not just to tell you about a program, the Ascend program, but also to offer real value in that 1 hour time. So it's a gift you give to yourself. You start that process and there's no risk to it. It's a free session and there will be value in it. So I hope you will sign up for that.
And don't forget to download the Ascend Pivot Readiness Reflection Guide. If you complete the reflection guide or even just get started on one of the activities and it sparked something for you and you want to bring a question to the informational session, we are more than happy to connect with you on it.
Yeah, awesome.